When it comes to happiness and life purpose, so many people still think that these two are the same, that our life purpose is to be happy. And of course, we all want to be happy. I want to be happy. I want to live a happy life. Who doesn't? But because we want something so bad, because something is that important for us, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is our life purpose. And I'm going to explain to you as well why our happiness is not our life purpose, even though it's a very, very important thing. I'm going to explain not just why happiness is not our life purpose, but also that even though it is not our life purpose, it is still very important in how it relates one to another. But one step at a time, one by one. The first thing, why is it that happiness is not our life purpose? Because there is no single creation in this world that is created with the purpose to generate value to that creation itself. Let me repeat this one more time and then I'm going to give you some examples. There is no single creation that is created with the purpose to generate value to that creation itself. These glasses, for example, the purpose, the main purpose why this glasses is created is not to generate value to the glasses itself, but to its users. The main purpose why this microphone is created is not to generate value to the microphone itself, but to its users. Glasses as a creation, microphone as a creation, this jacket, this hoodie as a creation. The reason why this hoodie is created is not to generate value to this hoodie itself, the creation itself, but to its users. The same thing with me and the same thing with you. The reason, the main purpose why Ali is created is not to generate value to just for Ali, but to generate value for others as well. Meanwhile, when we talk about happiness, when we say that my life purpose is to be happy, whose happiness? My happiness. When we say to be happy, it means my happiness. So the focus is about me. Meanwhile, the main reason, the main purpose why every single creation is created is to generate value to others. So that's why these two are not aligned. These two are complementary, yes, but it doesn't mean that happiness is our life purpose. Because when we said happiness, it means it focuses on ourselves. Meanwhile, the purpose is always about generating value for others. So that's number one. Number two, so even though happiness is not our life purpose, of course, like I said earlier, it is still very, very, very important. So all I'm saying is just don't misunderstand happiness as life purpose. I'm not saying that happiness is not important. Of course, it is important. In fact, I see happiness as a skill that we need to learn, that we need to practice, so we can live our life purpose more effectively and in general increase our quality of life. When we are in a state of happiness, it means we are in a good condition, mentally at the very least. It's like, for example, I don't have my cell phone with me, but let's say my cell phone or my mobile phone, that phone will be able to live its purpose optimally if it's in a good condition. The same thing with us. If we're in a good condition, well, physically, yes, but also mentally, psychologically as well, if we're doing a particular job, a particular task, and we're in a bad state, emotional state, we're still in a very sad state of being or disappointed, compared to if we're in a state of excitement, of course we're going to be productive while we're in the latter state of being. So because we're in a good condition, we'll be able to perform more effectively, more efficiently as well. The same thing with our life purpose, and the same thing with happiness. When we are in a happy state, it means we're in a good condition. So that's why by practicing, learning and practicing, and increasing our ability to create happiness, it will enable us to live our life purpose more effectively. And even beyond that, beyond life purpose, just by increasing our happiness skills, if I might say it that way, increasing our happiness skills, it can also increase our quality of life in general, of course. Whether you're living your life purpose or not, it is important to learn the skill of happiness because everybody wants to be happy, of course. So the last thing that I want to share with you guys is that, interestingly, even though happiness is not our life purpose, and by increasing our happiness skills, it would help us to live our life purpose more effectively. Interestingly, actually, this is kind of counterintuitive. By living our life purpose, it can also have a positive impact on our happiness. And the answer to this is, first, we need to understand about happiness first. And of course, there are so many fields that talks about happiness. Psychology talks about happiness. Philosophy talks about happiness. What else? Religion talks about happiness. Neuroscience talks about happiness. So there are so many different kind of fields that talks about happiness. And I want to share one of them that is considered to be a scientific approach about happiness, and that is the field of positive psychology or applied positive psychology. Positive psychology is a relatively new field in the field of psychology compared to other fields of psychology. Psychology has been around for over 100 years old, but the majority of fields within psychology focuses on how to support, how to help people who are facing some psychological challenges and how they can heal, they can become quote-unquote normal again. Or another way, overcome their psychological challenges. That's the focus that's the focus of psychology in general. But positive psychology, which has been around for 20-something years, so I said it's new relatively to other fields that's been over 100 years old. But positive psychology focuses on people who are, well, basically psychologically they're okay, but how can we increase our level of happiness, our average level of happiness? You might ask, we can measure our average level of happiness? There's a scientific approach if you're interested. There are so many books that talks about this. One of them that I would recommend is a book called Authentic Happiness from Professor Martin Seligman, and he's also one of the co-founders of positive psychology. And in the book is very heavy on research, so it explains a lot of researches that has been done on this field about happiness as well. So you can take a look at that book if you're interested on the scientific approach, the process of measuring it. But I'm not going to go into details in this video. But here's what I want to share though. In applied positive psychology, they divide a happy life into 3 levels, or 3 types, or 3 categories of a happy life. The first one is what is called a pleasant life. A pleasant life is where you focus your life just by adding more and more and more pleasures. So it's not exactly happiness, it's pleasure. Pleasure can be having the things that you like, or buying the things that you like, or eating the things that you like, or going to some place that you like, or sexual relationship. These are pleasures. However, interestingly, the research shows that by increasing the pleasures in our life, it does not correlate directly to our fulfillment, to our life satisfaction. So many people think by keep getting and doing things that are pleasurable, it will make their life happy. But apparently, the research shows that that's not how it is. Because if by adding more pleasures will make us more satisfied about our life, will make us more fulfilled about our life, the graphic should be this way. More pleasures, more life satisfaction, more fulfillment. But that's not how it is. And the answer of why that is not in psychology, but in biology. Things that are pleasurable triggers our body to produce a biochemical called dopamine. You might have heard this chemical, dopamine. And dopamine is, of course, very, very important to our body, to our happiness actually as well. However, dopamine is not the only so-called happy hormones or chemicals. But here's the thing about dopamine that we need to understand. As important as it is, dopamine's effect in our body is only short term. And dopamine has an addictive side, has an addictive effect as well on our body, including our phone, our mobile phones, whatever, or our laptops, or anything with a screen, or any kind of gadget that you use, basically. It also triggers our body to generate dopamine as well. That's why sometimes we get addicted to our gadget. We need to make sure we need to open, even though there's nothing to look at. So because gadget also triggers dopamine as well. So it creates that kind of addiction. And also, including money, that's also pleasure as well. That's also dopamine as well. It doesn't matter how many zeros you add on the back, it will never be enough if that is your main focus. So a pleasant life is a life where your main focus is just adding pleasures on top of pleasures on top of pleasures. It is even said that the focus only on dopamine is like craving the next high, because it has that addictive effect. It's like craving the next high. So it's never enough. That's why a pleasant life, even though in positive psychology it is said that it is still better than a miserable life, of course, but it's the lowest of a happy life. The second level is what is called a good life or an engaged life. This is where our average level of happiness increases. So what is an engaged life or a good life? It is a life where we're focusing on doing the things that we love, doing the things that we're good at. You're focusing on your passions, on your talents, your strengths. And then you feel alive, you feel like you're growing as a person. That has a higher effect, a bigger effect on our average level of happiness. A good life or an engaged life. That's the second one. But there's a third one that has even an even higher or bigger effect on our average level of happiness. And that is what is called a meaningful life. And here's what's also interesting. The difference between a good life or engaged life with a meaningful life is very, very thin. The difference is in the reason. What does it mean, the reason? A meaningful life is when you have a bigger reason than just for yourself in how you live your life. When you have a bigger reason on why you do things, on why you live your life. A good life or engaged life, the focus is me. I feel alive. I feel like I'm growing. I'm learning. And of course, it's very, very good. But a meaningful life, when beyond the thing that you do for yourself, you also have a bigger reason than that. And why does living a meaningful life, why does living your life by having a bigger reason than just for yourself can increase your average level of happiness? Again, the answer is not in psychology, but it's in biology. Let's go back for a little bit. In a pleasant life, the main focus is on pleasures, dopamine. A meaningful life is when our body creates a biochemical called serotonin. And serotonin is the one that triggers our body to feel not just pleasure, but also fulfillment. So it's more than just pleasures. And interestingly, one of the ways that our body can naturally produce this serotonin is by doing a good deed. I think God or whatever you believe created this perfectly. That by doing a good deed, it naturally triggers our body to create biochemicals that made us feel fulfilled. I'm sure you have this experience where you're doing a good deed to others, but seeing the effect on others, you are happier than the person that you're helping. Everybody has this kind of experience. They feel happier seeing the effect of what they did. They're happier even though compared to the people that they're helping. So, how does all of this correlate with life purpose and happiness? These two things that we talked in the beginning of this video. I said earlier that happiness is not our life purpose because the focus of happiness is on ourselves. Meanwhile, life purpose is always about creating value for others. So it means we're living our life by doing things that would generate value for others. And by doing that, it would continuously trigger our body to generate more serotonin. Hence, it will also enhance our fulfillment. So even though happiness is not our life purpose, but by living our life purpose, it will trigger us to create more serotonin, and it will increase our level of satisfaction of life, our level of fulfillment as well. So even though happiness is not our life purpose, by living our life purpose, it will also affect our happiness. So this is where what I said, it's a bit counterintuitive. However, keep in mind, I never said that by living your life purpose, you will definitely live a happy life. I never said that. What I said is, by living your life purpose, you can also increase your level of happiness. Because there are people who are living their life purpose, but their happiness scale is still very low. So the way they live their life purpose, when living your life purpose comes with so many challenges as well. So if your happiness scale is still very low, you're experiencing rejections, failures. If your happiness scale is still low, you might be dwelling in negative emotions, and that's also not good. So whether you're living your life purpose or not, you need to learn the skill of happiness. However, if your happiness skills is high, it will be, however, by living your life purpose, it can also have a positive impact on your happiness. But don't just rely on living life purpose in order to live a happy life. You need both. You need to learn the skill of happiness, you need to practice, you need to increase your happiness skills while you're also discovering and then living your life purpose on a consistent basis as well. So this is a pretty long video, but I want to make sure you get a comprehensive understanding that first, happiness is not our life purpose because the focus of happiness is on ourselves. Meanwhile, life purpose is always about generating value for others because there is no creation that is created with the main purpose to generate value for the creation itself. It's always for others. Meanwhile, happiness, the focus is on ourselves. However, by living our life purpose, it will trigger our body to generate more serotonin, which will also affect our happiness and fulfillment. I hope this is useful, and I hope you do use it. I'll see you in the next video. Very quickly, there's a research that reveals a universal pattern of phases that people go through in their journey of discovering and living their life purpose. And you can learn and find out in which phase am I in right now, and what's the next phase, and most importantly, how do I get there? Find your answers in Uncover Your Unique Purpose, a comprehensive and practical guide to discovering your life purpose. It's a research-based book and as well covered with all the exercises you'll need to discover your unique purpose. Get this book now and take a real step to your most unique self-discovery journey. This book is available on Amazon worldwide.